Hello everyone, I'm Andrew Woods and I thought I'd do something a little bit different for this talk. I'd like to talk about fair trade, something which we're probably all familiar with to some extent, but which has huge implications for the global community. So, what is fair trade? Well, in principle it is the idea that the producers or workers in poorer countries receive a fair, decent wage for the work they do, that they get a fair deal when trading with the wealthier parts of the world. Unsurprisingly, this can bring huge benefits to the poor communities that are so crucial in supplying much of our food, clothing, technology and more. The problem is, though, that this is not the norm. 1.66 million farmers work in the Fair Trade Network, the main umbrella organisation that tries to ensure a fair deal for producers. But against the 2 billion or so people who make their living from agriculture, it's only a drop in the ocean. The total value of fair trade products adds up to about $9 billion, but the global market for coffee alone adds up to $200 billion. Combine this with the loss of fair trade producers being unable to find companies that will buy their goods at fair trade prices, and unfortunately a pitifully small amount of producers from poor countries actually get a fair deal. In the West, fair trade is often seen as a bit of a luxury, and it's a company's choice whether or not to abide by it, but the reality is that all non-fair trade goods are simply an admission that the producers are getting ripped off. Companies pay as little as possible to keep profit margins high, in turn keeping the producers and their communities impoverished, despite the producers being essential for those products. Add on to this forced labour, child labour and exploitation of foreign labour laws, and it becomes clear how, despite producing so much of the materials and doing so much of the work, much of the world remains poor and big companies remain rich. So what can be done about this grim picture? Well, firstly, it is worth keeping an eye out for the fair trade label. Though it is limited in its overall impact, fair trade goods like these do return more to the countries that produce them, and in a small personal way you're helping to change the system. Secondly, simply by being informed. Simply knowing about how producers are so often ripped off and exploited by large corporations helps to expose the issue and makes you a better educated global citizen, understanding in no small part why the world is the way it is and working steadily towards changing it.